Welcome to Sew Very Easy. My name is Laura, and when I cut my fabric for my quilting, I always assign pieces a letter. That lettering system helps me place all of the pieces together, and at a glance, I know if I've cut the fabric or what fabric I have cut. And quite a few years ago, I did post a video on how I marked the little heads of these flower pins with the alphabet. But I also use these pins that I have created just using straight pins with the little ball heads on them and these beads that have the alphabet on them. They're very easy to make and they are a lot of fun to use. These little marking pins are very simple to make. We need some pins, and I do like using the longer pins with the balls on the end. We will need alphabet beads. We can always add a little decoration with the secondary bead on it. We're going to need a piece of styrofoam, and we can get this from something that we've recycled, and a little bit of crazy glue. And we're going to need 2 coffee cups. The alphabet beads do have a little hole down the center. So we're going to be able to put that pin right through that hole. And then let's put a decorative bead on the end. We're going to glue those all at one time. But what we're going to do is stick them in some styrofoam. So we're going to stick the entire alphabet in that styrofoam. So it's going to look like this. You can see that those beads are very loose, but doing it this way is going to save us from gluing our fingers, and well, it's really easy this way. We want to put all of our pins in and make sure the heads are in the direction that you want, and we need to leave an end on both sides of the styrofoam so that styrofoam is going to be able to sit on top of there and the beads are hanging down. Once we have them all set and we know we have a spot for them to dry, we're going to be able to glue them. Take a piece of aluminum foil, just prop them up a little bit so all of the beads fall to the bottom of this styrofoam. And then we're going to take that crazy glue and then just run a little line of glue on the end of each of those pins. This is great because nothing is getting on my hands. And anything that drops is going to drop on that aluminum. And then tip them sideways. And all of those beads should fall down. I'm going to put an extra drop of glue on the pin right on top of that extra bead. And if you don't have a bead, you're just going to use whatever is there last. That little drop of glue is going to run down that pin and into the rest of them. So tiny little drop of glue. Just make sure all of the beads are down to the bottom. And now I can let them dry. Once they're dry, we're going to be able to test and make sure that all of those beads are staying at the top. If one of them just slides back down, just re-glue them. And if you really want, we can add another drop of glue right along those beads and let it dry one more time. Well, my pins are drying. I'll explain to you how I use these. I do have all the letters of the alphabet, and I'm going to transfer those letters to each piece or each unit that I cut. A lot of patterns will actually already tell you that. So this one will say from that cream print, we're cutting, and it's A square. So we have that A. The next one is B. But as we go along, we'll find that we will have A and B in white, A and B in yellow, and so on. So what I do is I label each individual piece and give it its own letter. So now I have A, B, C, D, E, F, and I do mark my binding. And in that box of pins, you'll have maybe an odd one. In this case, it's a heart. So my heart pins are going to be binding pins. As I'm reading that pattern, I'm marking it And I'm putting those pins right through that page. So my pattern has all of these pins, including the binding. As I cut out the pieces, and this is just an example, when I finished cutting that stack, I put my pin in it. I know I've used it, and my pile has been marked. So as I'm going along, I'm going to be transferring all of those pins as I'm cutting. Now this is not that particular pattern, but you get the idea. So now as I'm sewing that pattern, I have it all at a glance. Now you can follow them and do A and B in the light, A and B in the dark. You'll just need to make more than one set of pins. And now that my pins are dry, the last thing I need to do is, well, put them on a nice pin cushion. The little flower pins do work fine, but these are definitely a lot prettier to use. And they really take no time at all to make. A little crazy glue, some pins, and some alphabet beads. And having that fabric label definitely speeds up our sewing and keeps us organized. Thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and I do have a newsletter. I'll put all the links in the description, and they're all under Sew Very Easy. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.